Welcome to the Dangerous Divas podcast, to another episode with your favorite coach, me, Coach Salome, and I'm coming at you today with building a body you can be proud of, eating the foods that you love, right? Because a lot of people think that you have to be in this super restrictive diet, but the reality is you don't, right? Everyone is worried about losing all of their progress during the weekend, but here's the deal. Let me break it down for you. The traditional diet is known to be strict, it's known to be rigid, and it's often boring and bland. And when I tell you I've been there, I have been there. I've done that. I did it for 8 months straight. Super boring, very strict, very rigid. Nothing to switch. If you had chicken, you had chicken. You could not switch it out. But for the average person, traditional diets are not sustainable long term whatsoever. If I tell you to eat chicken and broccoli for the rest of your life, are you going to do it? Probably not, because I'm not. And I did it for 8 months and it was terrible. And I don't want you guys to do this. So there's a better way to approach nutrition long term. Okay? I promise you there's a better way, and it is going to be more and more beneficial for you. It's called flexible dieting. Flexible dieting is a non-restrictive approach to dieting. To keep it short and simple so that I don't bore you with all the science stuff, it's healthy or unhealthy. You can eat whatever foods you want. Whether it's healthy or unhealthy, you can eat it all, as long as at the end of your day, you consume the right amount of calories and the right amount of macros, which is your protein, your carbs, and your fat, as directed by your diet, right? So you make sure you're on the right track. So yes, you can eat the foods that you love, but also making sure that you are in your calories and are in your macros. And that is very hard, right? And I just want to be honest, I've just been doing macros right now after my bodybuilding event, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm discovering a lot of things, and it's really cool. And a lot of my clients are doing the same thing as well. So it's pretty awesome. And they have the option to switch a bunch of things out. It is super, super, super sustainable. You don't want something that's super strict, because you're not going to be able to sustain it forever whatsoever. So let's break down the diet properties for you so that you can understand what I mean by flexible dieting. First of all, it's adherence. If you can't stick to your diet, it won't work, okay? So if you have a very strict diet and you can't stick to it, it probably won't work, okay? A lot of people do very restrictive things and then go into a flexible dieting because the restrictive didn't work, right? Second thing is energy balance. Calories in versus calories out. Super simple. How many amounts of calories you put in, how many amounts of calories out. And then the macronutrient balance, which is your protein, your fats, and your carbs that are in your diet. This is probably the most important thing, so that you don't overeat on carbs, you don't overeat on protein, or undereat, which most people do. They undereat on protein and carbs instead of having them a lot more up. And then the food composition, the micronutrients. How healthy and clean your food is, because eating healthy is not the same thing as eating clean. All right? It's not always the same thing. Eating healthy could be that you're eating a salad from Wendy's, but it's not clean. Does that make sense? And then, most importantly, I'm going to choke right here, but most importantly is your nutrient timing. How many times a day are you eating? How often do you eat before your workout? What time do you wake up at? When do you eat? What time is your bedtime, right? There's a lot of nutrient timing that comes into play as well. But 1 and 2 are extremely mandatory, making sure that you adhere to your diet and that you make sure that you are eating the right amount of calories versus the amount of calories out that you're burning, if you want to lose weight, gain weight, or maintenance. Now, if you feel like you're really, really great on top of all these three, on top of adherence and energy balance, number 3, which is macronutrient balance, all of your macros, your protein, your fats, and your carbs, is super mandatory to make sure you are eating this right amount of foods each time, because you could be eating the same amount of calories, let's say, for example, 1,500 calories, but 1,300 of them are from carbs, and then 200 are from protein. Then that's not enough. That's not a good balance, right? So making sure that we have a good micronutrient balance is super important as well. A sustainable way to dieting would be to focus on the top 3 priorities and then slowly adding the other ones as they become easier and easier. Because I will be honest with you, dieting is hard. Flexible dieting is not easy because you have access to all the foods that you love. You have access to everything that you want to eat, but you have to restrict yourself and you have to know how much to eat and what to eat in order for you to eat the right amount of calories and the right amount of macros, and also following a proper diet. Because yes, you could eat whatever you want, but what's the point of eating a pizza with a whole tub of ice cream? That's not what we're talking about, right? We don't want you guys eating a whole tub of ice cream right after eating pizza. That's not what I'm talking about. It's everything in moderation. So if you're bored of the very rigid diet of carbs, of rice, broccoli, and chicken, please stop doing that. Find a way to have a flexible dieting approach, even if it's with a meal plan, like I do with my clients. We do a meal plan so that they learn what is good and what is wrong, but they have like 50 things to substitute from. So if they don't like chicken, they can substitute it with fish, they can substitute it with ground beef, whatever they want to eat that day, okay? So it doesn't always have to be super plain and boring, because dieting can suck. Yes, it can suck 100%. It has to be something that is sustainable for your lifestyle, that you are eating the right amount of calories versus the calories that you're burning, but also eating the right amount of macronutrients and micronutrients that you are burning every day. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. If you have any questions about this topic, please reach out at Salome Aberger on Instagram, and I promise you, I will answer you. For today, that is all. That is it. Coach Salome out.